I was born blind. I got my vision back the day I married him. I had never seen my fiancé's face, but somehow I already knew it better than my own. For 26 years, I'd been blind. I never felt broken, but the world certainly treated me like I was. And even though my fiancé always said he'd love me in darkness or light, part of me still wondered if I was holding him back. Sometimes, late at night, I'd find myself wondering what my fiancé looked like when he smiled. People told me I was lucky to have him. A man who learned how to describe sunsets just so I could feel them, who memorized the sidewalk cracks so I wouldn't trip, who told me every single day that I was beautiful, even when I couldn't see it for myself. When doctors told me I qualified for an experimental surgery that might restore most of my vision, I froze. I'd lived my whole life in darkness. The risks were terrifying. But when I told him, his only response was, "Whether you see me or not, I'll be here. I love you either way." That's when I knew I wanted to see the man who made me feel more seen than anyone ever had. I didn't tell him I was doing the surgery. Instead, I said my sister was taking me on a pre-wedding getaway, when in reality, she held my hand through every scan, every needle. Every night I cried from the pain of recovery. I asked to keep the bandages on one more day, just one. I didn't want the first thing I saw to be the ceiling or a blurry doctor. I wanted it to be him. So on the morning of our wedding, I stood in my dress, shaking, heart pounding, as my sister guided me to our first look. And when she carefully peeled off the gauze, my breath caught. There he was, standing in his tux, eyes wide and glossy with tears. He looked exactly like he felt, kind, steady, and mine. He started crying and said, "You can see me?" His breath caught as I reached up to touch his face, the face I knew better than my own. "It's you," I whispered, smiling through tears. "You're even more handsome than I imagined." He just sobbed and pulled me into a bone-crushing hug. In that moment, I was so happy. I always knew what love felt like. Now I know what it looks like too. We got married right after, and I learned that the world is overwhelming, beautiful, too bright, and sometimes blurry. But I wouldn't trade that moment for anything. I would have been happy staying blind forever. But now I get to see the way he looks at me, and that's the best view in the world.